Today I want to talk about what happens in your life after you turn 50, all the changes that happen. Well, we already know that we have empty nest syndrome, we're dealing with a new relationship, we have parents that are aging, we're thinking about retiring. Today we're going to talk about when your parents or your loved ones might need a little more help. Maybe even when you might need a little more help. But what we're going to do is we're going to talk about some of the most common issues that come up so that you're aware of them. That's the biggest deal, right? To be aware so that you know when changes are happening. So we're going to go over some of the potential issues, and we're going to go over some of the signs to look for and what to be aware of. The big deal with this, you guys, is to start the conversation with the older people in your life. Let them know what you're aware of and what you're seeing, and let them know that you're seeing some of it in your own life as well. It's nothing to be ashamed of. It's just you want to start having conversations and wanting them to be able to talk to you about this. All right, so the first thing we're going to talk about is personal care. So when you notice that maybe personal care is slipping, and that could mean anything from the clothes aren't as clean, people's clothes aren't as clean, or there's dirty dishes in the sink, or there's some food in the refrigerator that's a little older, maybe not getting to the beauty parlor as much. The house is looking a little messier. Maybe the landscaping and the home repairs are kind of starting to slip. Those are things that maybe they need a little more help. They're tired, maybe they're not seeing things, and they just need a little more help. Another thing in this time to notice is if you're noticing any bruising or bleeding, that often indicates that there's some mobility issues, right? They're maybe having a little hard time getting around or bumping into things. So those are some little things with personal care that when you're looking at them, you can kind of tell. The next one is medication management. Now, this is a really big one. For me, I think this started for me when I was in my 40s because of all the supplements I was taking. And then I was doing my natural hormones or my hormone replacement therapy. So it's that idea of what are you taking and how does it interact with other things? And are you taking it consistently? So for olders, often, it's really not as much about overdosing, it's underdosing as well. Are they remembering to take their medications? A lot of times people just don't feel like taking their medications, so they stop taking them. And at some point, that might not be okay. That also might be a time where things are changing in their health routine. They got diagnosed with something, or there's something short-term they're going through. So they're having to take more medications, and they don't necessarily know how it interacts with other things or how it might make them feel. It might be changes in how they feel as they're going through that. They might need help with an organizational system, like those wonderful little boxes that have all the days of the week, or maybe setting alarms for things. Again, what we really want to do here is identify areas where we can have conversations where they might need a little more help. Nutrition and support at this point is really huge. So older people are really at a higher risk for malnutrition. It's really hard to get to the grocery store. It's really hard to plan meals. Sometimes, you might be on medications that you're not hungry. You're just not hungry. You might be a little depressed. So you're not as hungry as you used to be. I find that a lot of times people then start to revert back and want their comfort foods, which is a lot of sometimes processed foods, which isn't necessarily the best thing to eat. So ask them about their appetite. Ask them about their energy levels. They'll tell you all day long about their bathroom habits. Pay attention to that because the bathroom habits let you know what's going on with their digestion or stuff that's going on the inside. So those are really important. So there's often ways that we can help with that. I mean, we can help them meal batch stuff. We can help put, get prepared meals at the grocery store. I talked to a lady today where I offered to do some grocery shopping for her, and she goes, "I've got Instacart, I'm good." So there's all kinds of options for that, but nutrition is highly important, and we need to make sure that they're getting the nutrition that they need. They're going to need that as they move forward and not start to battle other diseases and things like that. And, to support also the medications that they're taking. They need that as well. The last one that we're going to talk about today is mobility and transportation. So they start slowing down a little bit. The first thing I want to talk about is driving. Maybe they should or shouldn't be driving. We don't want them to get hurt. We certainly don't want them to have to deal with what it would feel like if they hurt someone else. Some of the things to look for are, number one, you're kind of coming in and out of the house and you notice if the car has a little bit more dings than it normally did, or there's some scrapes that you hadn't seen before. Or if their hearing and their eyesight has significantly changed, that really affects how you drive. You can also notice too, whenever you're in the car with people, if they get easily rattled or they're anxious or things like that. So this is one of those things. but you want to make sure that you're not taking away their independence. I mean, they need to have their mobility. They need to have their social interactions. We're going to talk about that in the next video where we go through some more points of what to look for. But it's hugely important to empower folks. We want to be empowered. We're going through some of these changes too. So let's start this conversation. And I'm here to help you guys have this conversation and start to find resources to help you with it, and just be a good sounding board or resource if you need me. Thanks a bunch, guys. And we got this 50+ thing.